Hey everyone, this is Aaron from Studio 3B. Today I wanted to go over with you some of my common development environment tools and share how they can be effective for you also. When developing, it's common for tools to vary based on the language or technology you're developing and also the operating system in which you're developing on. Today we'll focus on the tools for the macOS operating system. The tools I will show you will come in handy for almost any web development you are planning to do. The three tools I will talk about today are my editor, my package manager, and my JavaScript package manager. For text editing, Sublime text editor is Sublime. I can say that it's free, but there is a stipulation that if you do not purchase it, a pop-up will show every 6 or 8 saves asking you to purchase. It's a little annoying, but it is something that you can deal with if you don't want to shell out the $75 or so it costs for the license. I did purchase the license myself, but if you don't have the license, it will say unregistered up in the upper right. That's the only other caveat. Sublime Text Editor has been my go-to editor for some time, and I just like it because I like the dark theme it comes with. It's very fast. We're up to version 3 now, and I think they're coming out with a version 4 very soon. Easy to see, lightweight, and it comes with lots of extra third-party packages you could download from the package repository that will assist with syntax highlighting. Has lots of extra tools, but basically the text editing feature is all you really need to get started, and it's very efficient and easy to use. As you can see, they're bragging about their performance on their website. Here are some of the features. Jumping around from file to file is also very easy. Going to the definition of different functions and classes, and you can have multiple windows open in the same window, the multiple panes, and it's cross-platform. So yes, I am focusing on the Mac OS today, but they do have it for Windows and Linux as well. When you do have a license, it works on every computer you own. So I don't ever get "you've run out of license" error message. I use my same license on all my computers and no problems there. So this is very good. If you're also looking for an alternate free text editor and you work on a Windows OS, there is Notepad++. That is available, and that is more of a white background style editor, and it's just made by a different developer and works just as well, but I just highly prefer this one over Notepad++. But many people do use Notepad++. It does not have the annoying pop-up that you are required to purchase this, but it just lacks a few of the lightweight features and nice to have package managers and stuff. Okay, so there's the text editor. That's what you're going to use to edit most of your stuff, unless you're using an IDE such as Eclipse for Java development or Visual Studio Code for Visual Studio stuff. Text editor is your basic go-to. Next up on the line, Homebrew. You're going to need software to compile your code, and Homebrew is a great way to get a hold of that software. So whether you're developing in Java or Python or just basic JavaScript, HTML, say you're using a Node server, anything like that, you could use Homebrew to install the software you need on your computer. Homebrew is much easier to manage packages on your computer than it is to manually install each package by downloading them individually. Homebrew will allow you to use the command line to get a hold of packages. So whether you want standard packages like wget here, or you need development tools such as the Java development environment, Java runtime environment, if you need anything, even software such as browsers, anything. So it's just an easy way to do things by a command line, and it's recommended by me because I find it much easier than just going to each website you need to download that software and try to remember and keep track of everything you have installed. Homebrew can give you ways of switching between different versions. Say you have 2 to 3 Java development environments. You might have Java 8 and then you might have Java 14 and 15 installed on your computer. You could set your Java home in your environment and switch the Java version by using Homebrew rather than having confusion in the installers. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is Node Package Manager. So guaranteed, if you are doing JavaScript development or any sort of web development, you will be doing JavaScript development. JavaScript is heavily prevalent in just about everything you're looking at on the web these days. And basically there's many different third-party libraries out there that you could use for your JavaScript. And there's many different versions of these libraries. And it can get rather hectic trying to download zip files and extract them to your source to use as third-party software. So Node Package Manager is a tool that's been around for quite some time, and you can install this with Homebrew. Node Package Manager allows you to specify in your package JSON, a JSON file in your source control, that it allows you to specify which package and which version you want to install. Not only that, when you run the install command, it will install that package from a GitHub repository to your local computer. It'll manage adding and removing packages from your available libraries and keep everything straight for you. It will find out any sort of inconsistencies and it'll find out what's incompatible. So this is a go-to. And now those are my 3 development tools that I will use heavily when I'm doing web development. I haven't talked about the Java development kit so much. That's critical for Java or any sort of other tool you might need for the particular language you're in. These are more overarching. And I'm going to throw in a bonus. Probably when you're developing, you realize that all your code is local and you have nowhere to back it up. And that's where source control and version control come in. And nowadays, you really need to use Git. Git is pretty much the only thing I would recommend using for source control these days. There are other things out there, but they're outdated, such as Subversion or anything like that. Git is source control, it's fast, and it allows you to keep your files backed up, tagged, branched, everything. You should really learn about Git, and we can get into that in a future video. There are 2 main places I know of that you can store your Git repositories. There is GitHub and there's Git Lab. GitHub is github.com, and you can host public open source APIs or open source repositories. But if you want the private feature where it's not accessible to others, you'll need to pay. And then there's Git Lab, which also is another type of Git repository. And there are some free private features available. I think there's a certain amount of repos you could have or something like that before they actually start wanting to charge you. But there are 2 go-tos. I tend to use Git Lab because I get the privacy feature without paying for it. And I haven't used up everything yet. So GitHub is good for open source stuff, and that's pretty much the main one. And then GitLab is for your private projects. And that's source control in a nutshell. There's really a lot more to it, but you do need to install Git on your Mac. You can do that right from Homebrew. And you can use either the command line to interact with Git, which there's plenty of help online for how to use that, or you can install GitHub for Mac, which is a graphical tool. It's called Desktop. And this allows you to see differences, make commits, commit to branches, make branches, fetch, pull, push, everything right from the graphical. So this is a pretty standard tool and it works very well also. So that being said, this is a very high level, just touching base on certain things. I'm hoping to draw you guys in so that you'll want to learn more about development. There's a lot I could teach you, but I really want to get started at a certain pace that I can capture your attention and find a pace that is going to work for you. So if you could leave a comment below whether you think this is helpful for you the way I did this video, whether you think that it is too fast or too slow or not specific enough, any kind of information that would help me understand what pace you guys would like to go at with your development. But I could definitely get into some coding in the future. I could definitely get into coding, I can get into environment configuration, and I can get into JavaScript development, Java development, PHP, anything you guys want to get into. Leave in the comments below what you want me to jump into here and show you more about. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.